Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good Monday.
So he's
to
back,
you
but
all.
not right this second.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back, but he's just not in here right
Yeah.
this minute. But he is here.
He's like 20 feet away from
Yeah.
us.
Be here.
He will
Fashionably late, making a grand entrance as usual.
be here. Making the grand entrance. Yep. Howdy, everyone. How y'all doing? It's Monday. This is the last you guys are gonna see of me for a week. It's gonna be a sad Monday. I leave bright and early tomorrow at 10 a.m. Which is
Well,
totally.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's like I looked at the itinerary again today and I was like, oh,
That's reasonable.
that's a very reasonable time for me to be leaving.
What time do you leave there to come home?
Oh, that I didn't look at.
Mine's at like 7.
Yeah, I remember having to get up at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
when I
was
left.
like, maybe I just won't sleep. And then I'll just sleep on the plane the whole way, and then
That's, to be fair, that is what I did.
I might be right
Yeah,
on timing.
I did that on the way over,
Mhm.
and it was a nightmare.
Oh.
It was not great.
Well,
But that was, yeah. I had a rough trip over. I didn't sleep for like 24 some odd hours.
can you not sleep on an airplane?
I didn't like get very much sleep on the airplane, no. I sleep kind of weird on an airplane. It's very intermittent. I sleep for like half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
that's
another
fine.
half an hour, 45 minutes.
We'll
Sometimes
be
I'll go
fine.
down. It'll be great.
We'll survive.
Turns out I've been on an airplane many, many times.
Yeah.
So,
Twice.
yep. Nothing new
worry.
or funky that I gotta
Unusual.
figure out. But we are doing the final finishing touches on our friend Devondra here, which is exciting today.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Hope you all had a good weekend.
Dang it, she got to it before I did. Did anybody do anything particularly exciting? Like go to a fancy, honestly, kind of a really fancy new game store.
Oh my gosh. That place is amazing.
Isn't it crazy?
You guys would be jealous.
Yeah, you honestly, you probably really would be.
It's pretty incredible. If anyone ever makes a trip to Arizona,
You have to.
regardless of where, I mean, if you're in the Phoenix Valley area, plan a day, regardless of where you are in the valley. You might have to drive a bit because it's not close to everything.
Yeah.
Like it's about probably 20 minutes from where we are. Worth it.
100%.
Completely worth it.
Yep.
Really, really cool new game store. Just massive. Huge playing area. A restaurant, full restaurant. This is bigger than the one. So we went a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, to Mox. Yeah.
To Mox,
Mhm.
which was in Chandler, and they have a restaurant. This is like double the size at least.
Of the restaurant? Yeah, it's about twice as long.
Yeah.
I would say the width is pretty similar, but the
Yeah.
the
They have a
length
lot
is
more tables and
way
stuff.
more tables. Yeah.
And they have their restaurant hours are insane. Did you see those?
Yes.
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
to 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
And they
Monday through
every
Sunday.
day.
Every day. Yeah.
7 days a week. It's Gamers Guild Paint Liquor. It's their new location up north Phoenix. It's like I-17 and Bell.
Which is
basically.
actually not that far away from
It's
me.
not. I mean, 20 minutes from us.
Yeah.
Paint Liquor would be a good hour probably
Yeah.
from where he lives, but
honestly, like for an excursion like that, like
it is. It's worth the drive.
it's worth the drive 100%.
It takes some friends with you. Get a table. Yeah, it's pretty.
They
pretty
probably have
impressive.
what 30 miniature gaming tables,
Oh, at least I would
right?
think.
Yeah. At least 30.
Because there was just the sitting ones, right?
Well,
is that
not-
what you're talking about? Or
I'm
you're
talking about just
games?
miniature games.
Oh, okay. That I don't know.
It's,
It was that one whole section that where you were standing, right?
yeah.
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 For
Probably 30,
Yeah.
30-ish, 35.
maybe.
Probably more. Yeah. And then there's enough seating for probably, I don't know, 200 people
Yeah.
comfortably.
Oh yeah, for sure. Plus a really nice private room.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
They have a
it's
kitchen in
very
the back,
impressive.
too.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
2 kitchens, I think.
Very, very
It's
impressive.
crazy. It is a very impressive location. This is coming from a guy who like had a Mox local.
Right.
It's not quite as bougie as Mox is.
Oh, really?
Well, like if you look at like the.
So I know that the Mox that you would go to in Washington was much larger than the one that we have. How does it compare inside to this Gamers Guild?
It's very different. It's kind of hard to quantify for me because in the new Gamers Guild, it's one huge, massive open room, right? And I would say the restaurant in the Mox in Bellevue is maybe a third of the size.
Okay.
It's much smaller. Maybe half if
Chuck,
you count all the tables.
What's the Uber Lyft situation in Phoenix? They're plentiful. You could also take a driverless Waymo if you feel like you want to live on the edge.
Yeah, I would say Uber Waymos from downtown is not too bad.
To Gamers Guild, I think.
Yes, it's not too bad.
Yeah. Like I said, it's about 20 minutes.
Yeah. Or you just say, hey Jordan, let's go. And then you don't have to pay for an Uber.
Jordan has a job though, so.
Well, assuming they want to do it during the week, yeah.
Cryo Cheese with the raid, thank you.
What's up, everybody?
Raiders.
Welcome, Raiders.
I don't know if it's on this.
May your Mondays be great and exciting. We're talking about a fancy new game store that opened up in town, called Gamers Guild.
I don't even think they're on the map yet in the Apple Maps. It's given me only the Tempe location.
It's weird because when I looked it up in my GPS, it did
Well, if you have the address, but if I just type in Gamers Guild, it doesn't come up on my map.
Right, but when I typed it into my GPS, I did have to type it via address, but when it pulled up the information, it did have Gamers Guild tied to it.
That doesn't help me right now. You found them on Google Maps, the Phoenix one, because they do have a location down by like I-10 and Broadway. So the location, the big new location is I-17 and Bell, yeah. Both are there. Okay, good. I'm looking on my iPhone in it.
But yeah, no, I would say the tournament hall probably seats a similar amount of people for card games, but their miniature gaming space is not even remotely close from Mox Bellevue.
Ghost who has a question. I'm going to airbrush in some shadows with some Payne's Gray. Do you think adding some transparent purple or red into that would help increase saturation without changing the Payne's Gray too much?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's something that I would do. If you want to punch up the saturation just a little bit to the Payne's Gray, it depends, because if you're adding transparent purple, you will change the hue, right? So you want to make sure that hue shift is something that you're also looking for. If you are looking for specifically tips on like adding saturation, then I would add a little bit of blue transparent, and then maybe a touch of black as well.
I was wondering, Fuker. Fuker said, "Hey Jordan, tips on painting copper and highlighting it, shading it. I need them."
For copper? Copper's really interesting. I would say for copper, using like transparent brown is one of my favorite things. Maybe with a touch of no true metallic metal.
No. Someone asked him if it was non-metallic. He said no.
Oh, okay. Metallic. Yeah. True metallic. So if you use our copper as a base, and I were to shade that, I would use a mixture of brown transparent and a touch of orange. So like I'd probably do 4 parts brown to 1 part orange, or maybe 3-to-1 instead of 4-to-1. I'd have to run a little test to see how I liked it, but the goal is to have a little bit of an orange feel to the brown when working with copper. And then for highlights, I'd probably do, what would I do? White gold is probably your best bet for highlights because it keeps it a little bit more in that yellowy range. Yeah, kind of play around with it, Gosu, and find something that you like. That's what I always try and do. If I like kind of, because you have an idea, right? You want Payne's gray, but you want a little bit more saturation. You might want to add a little bit more hue to it, or rather a little bit of a hue shift to it. It's great to have that in your mind and then just be comfortable just kind of playing around with the colors till you find something that you go, ooh, this is really cool, and then use that. That's what I do.
Cordell, hello. Donnie Dynamo, hey Monument folks. Hope the week is starting well. Had more painting classes at HMGS Hurricane this weekend in Florida, and it was a big hit. And an actual hurricane too in Florida, right?
Oh my gosh, I had a ticket from
Hopefully
somebody.
not in your area. It sounds like you were enjoying your weekend.
But I had a ticket from somebody today, and they mentioned that they were in Florida, and I had to Google it. I was like, I hope they weren't in a bad place. Luckily, they're on the other side.
I mean, if they're taking time to email you, they're probably all right.
Well, it could have been from yeah. But you never know. They might have some friends or family that live in a different part.
Hurricane missed you, good. Hope all of those who had to miss it faring well.
Indeed. That's like one of the worst ones we've had in a while, right? As far as hurricanes are concerned.
I don't know. Current events.
I suppose I'm not much of a hurricane observer in general.
Arizona.
Yeah, we
Not
definitely get a lot of
for
them
us.
here.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Mo. Hope your weekend was good. Oh, Jen. This is super important. Guess where I went for lunch this weekend?
Don't know.
Chino Bandito.
Oh, because you were over there.
Yeah, it's funny because I was having lunch with Plumber, and we were going around to look for someone because he was from out of town. And I was like, oh, it's a good place around here, and I was just Googling it. And I was like, oh my god, Chino Bandito's literally like 3 blocks away.
So you went without getting the tips before. So what did you order?
I ordered Jade Red Chicken.
Excellent.
Because I remember that
Yes,
that's what everybody liked.
Yes.
It is marked also as like their most popular thing. I got a regular combo, so I got the two different proteins. What they do.
Okay.
So I got.
I always get double Jade Red because it's the only good.
Next time I'll get double Jade. But I got one of their other. It was kind of like their slightly lighter jerk chicken that was a little bit on the sweet side. It was good.
Literally don't know anything else about anything.
Yeah, it's just Jade Red chicken.
Which beans?
I got the refried.
Got to do the black.
Okay, I asked the lady at the counter. I was like, "Hey, what sides should I get?" She was like, "The refried beans are really good," but I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember.
They're so good. And then did you get it like in a quesadilla, just plain?
I just got it plain.
Oh, it's really good in a quesadilla.
How do they do it do they just put all of that into a
Yeah, they
quesadilla?
just put it, cheese on the tortilla, chicken, fold it, bake it. It's delicious.
Okay.
It's so good.
Cool.
With the rice and their beans, and yeah, it's so good.
Well, now I'm
There
kind of
he
sad.
is. I told you.
There he's at. There he is.
And then
The
what
man.
kind of cookie?
I got
Snickerdoodle?
Snickerdoodle,
Okay.
yeah.
Those are good, but if they have the chocolate one, it's way better.
They had oatmeal raisin and
Okay.
and the
Yeah,
sugar
the
cookie.
chocolate one is the first to go, pretty much.
Oh, okay. So
they
they
run
run,
out.
out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best one.
It's so good.
My mic on.
Oh, which chair you are?
Producer. Shalom.
Hello.
That's it. Oh, very loud.
That's a little loud.
It's Jason.
Jason's back. We got to turn the volumes down just a
the
little
last
bit.
one's sitting there where Shannon and Shelby.
Hello.
Hello.
How
Welcome
we
back.
doing?
I am not packed.
Yes, he did say opium raisin. That's how we roll
Yes.
in Arizona.
Yeah.
They had opium raisin cookies.
Opium raisin.
Jason has been just gallivanting around, taking vacations, traveling.
Taking vacation.
Yeah, it's like
Hanging
I'm not
out.
sure what he did could be called a
I
vacation.
don't know where we got this from. I haven't had a vacation.
I'd love to hear about some of the stuff that happened.
So I went to let me think. I've been gone for nearly 2 weeks, right?
Right. Yeah.
So when
You know what? Before you do that, can we get a question in? Because
Sure.
it was from a minute ago and
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to lose it. From Derpstick.
Uh-huh.
Your glazed and wash medium isn't meant for thinning paints, right? I know the name makes it obvious, but it probably does work differently from GW's medium that they have.
Well, so I can answer this. There are a couple of different ways that you can thin paint. So you can thin for opacity. So you can reduce the intensity of the coverage of the paint by adding glaze and wash medium, which is one of the things that it's for. And then the other way you can thin your paint is by reducing the viscosity or making it thinner and more watery, right? So in the case of glaze and wash medium, the goal is to make the paints that you have that are designed to be as opaque as possible to be a little bit more transparent. So when you put them on top of things, they don't get as much coverage. Now, you use those for washes and for glazes and things like that, which is why we call it glaze and wash medium. And then you can add a little bit of water. So you can add the glaze and wash medium to adjust for the transparency that we were talking about, and then you add a little bit of water to reduce the viscosity. So if you want to get a wash, you add a little bit more water. If you want to glaze, you add even a little bit more, and you just use less paint, and you get very thin, nice glaze.
Ta-da!
Mo, did you just call him Scruffy? I don't think I would be caught dead calling Jason Scruffy.
I mean, he's not wrong.
You're not scruffy.
You're not a scruffy person.
I'm a dirty ass boy.
No.
Yeah, but then are we calling every boy Scruffy? Because we're
Yes.
all kind of dirty.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You have me convinced there.
Unless you have more hair products than Jen, at which point in time you're probably not scruffy. But you got to really work at it
Yeah.
as a man to not be scruffy.
That's true.
I don't use a lot of hair products.
The
That's
bar
why I
is
said,
pretty low.
unless you have more than Jen, who has virtually none, at which point in time.
Yeah.
Scruffy the janitor from... Hey, which one of these can you make big?
I can make one big.
I think you can make
So that's
both
left. Let's
of them.
try it. It's
Yeah.
the other one.
I will go sit in the other one.
Okay.
We're gonna have to probably switch over the mic too as well. He's punk rock. It don't get much more scruffy.
I deny you on that one. I am not punk rock.
It's a little high. The camera.
I am not punk rock, nor have I ever been punk rock.
Wait. I feel like this is a lie.
I
Am I being lied to right now, Jason?
probably.
Okay.
What the hell happened to all the cameras,
Uh,
Christopher?
He was just in here before stream started too.
Hey, Christopher.
and like touched the cameras.
He touched the cameras?
Yeah. Like he knew you were planning on coming in here.
Hey, Chris. Can you come help me?
Papa Chicken is struggling with a color mixture using only transparents. How can I get an aquamarine color?
An aquamarine color.
Blue and white.
Aquamarine is made up. It's a lie.
Yeah. I would say.
No such thing.
Blue and white, maybe
Yeah, transparent white, transparent blue.
No such thing.
Touch
and
of-
then
no
a
aquamarine.
touch of green. A really small amount of green.
Ta-da. Fantastic.
Thanks, Chris.
Vince just did an airbrushed cake video. When are the edible pro curls coming? Never?
Nope. Nope, we don't do that.
That's the one
They're already
thing
here,
that we
right?
will say
Whoa,
never.
whoa, Jason, I know you've been gone for a week and a half, but we still don't have anything edible.
Oh, we still don't make edible stuff?
We still don't make
Okay.
edible
No,
stuff.
no.
All right. What about all these cans out back?
Whoa.
Are those
Whoa.
edible? Canned food?
Do we? I wouldn't feed it to my cat, so we probably shouldn't eat it.
So
either.
probably shouldn't. Is that the? Is
Did you
that
get a
the
cat?
test?
Did I get a cat?
Yeah. You said you wouldn't feed it to your cat.
No, I didn't get a cat yet. No. That would have
Oh,
been
yeah.
really,
There
really
was big
fast.
news over
Thought
the
we had
weekend.
super news for the day. Jordan got a cat.
We were. I know what kind of cat I'm gonna get.
Get a Maine Coon
Yeah, Maine Coon.
when he actually gets it, which is never.
Whoa. Okay, you know what? Now I gotta
It'll
prove you
never
wrong.
happen. It'll happen the same day he makes strawberry shortcake.
Derp
Now I
Six said-
have to make strawberry shortcake to celebrate.
And get a Maine Coon, yeah.
So back to the question about the glaze and wash medium.
Yeah.
Derp Six said, I've always heard medium is good to make the paint flow off the brush better, but I still haven't bought any type of medium, still using water.
No.
Mm-mm.
Use water all you want. You don't have to have a medium.
Yeah, medium.
Our
doesn't have
mediums are
anything.
very specific. Like Jordan was saying, like for the glaze and wash medium, it's meant as a way. I don't want to say it's training wheels, but the glaze wash medium is the best way to learn how to thin your paint for opacity and still keep control of your paint, because it keeps it at a paint-like consistency, right? But then we'll lower the opacity so you can do things like glazes and such. And like he was saying, if you want to create a wash with it, then you start adding water to it. It makes it more runny, and then it'll act like a wash, because of the properties of the medium. But it's for a specific thing. Paint does not, nor should it need anything added to it to just flow off the brush normally. Our paints do that great without anything other than a little dampness on the brush. And that's the whole reason our paints are separated out from the pack, is because we make high-end artist-grade paints in liquid form. Everyone else makes house paint in small bottles. Period.
Little house paint bottles.
And so that's the main difference, right? Is that we take what you would love as an artist about acrylics and painting on canvas, and we just turn it into a viscosity that is good for painting on three-dimensional surfaces, but gives you that same pigmentation, that same density and vibrancy, and everything that you would expect as an artist from a paint happens with Procryl. You don't have to add anything to it to get it to work. Now, if you're airbrushing all the time, you're going to want to thin it down, because the longer you spray an acrylic, the more tip dry you get, things like that. So, there's utility from mediums. But the mediums we make are very specific for the case and point. Like if you do want to do very low opacity layering, call that glazing, washes, whatever you're doing, then sometimes it's easier to use a medium that keeps the paint at its feeling like paint point, as opposed to just putting water, because water lowers the viscosity of the paint as you add it. It will lower the opacity of it as well, but it'll start to run all over the model. And if you're not very confident and skilled with your painting techniques, then that can cause you a problem where the paint gets away from you, pills up, the color you want on the top surface goes into the crevices and messes up your shadows. Whereas a medium will keep that from happening, because it'll still act like a paint. It'll just go where you put it with your paintbrush, but it can be lower opacity so you can see through it still.
Some of them, Mo.
Yeah, exactly, Gosu.
Philip was putting some in stock today, I know.
I think Sable 1's hit stock.
Sable
2s?
1, 2, 3, I think.
I think that brings the Sable set back in stock.
No, zeros.
Oh, zeros are
Yeah.
still out.
And then the synthetics were missing, I think, double zeros and ones.
Yeah, I saw an
Still.
absolute tremendous inrush of Sable 1s and 2s
Oh,
being
seriously?
ordered about an hour ago. So
No, look at that.
jump on it. Get on it. Get on it. Get on it. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, that would have been
Hey
better.
there.
That would have been better if my camera was in Jen's spot, because when I pointed at you, it
Yeah.
pointed at the totally wrong direction
Yeah.
on camera.
I know. I was
Hi.
like, who are you pointing at over there?
It's funny because
Patrick, yes, all the brushes are left-handed, and I do laugh at you every time you ask to see Hulk's tutu. To get to your earlier comment. Jason's going to start freestyling if you let him keep going.
what do you think he does
I
every day?
I wouldn't be bothered by that. I don't think any of us would be disappointed by that.
I'd probably just laugh because I would enjoy it.
Laugh. That'd be
Not laugh in a joking sort of way, but
Or
laugh in
not laughing
a
at him.
merriment sort of
Yes.
way. I am enjoying this, and this is
joyous
great.
laughter.
Yes.
So the I wound up when I left here on Thursday. I can't say last week. Week before last. I went to Dallas, Texas. I was in my home state. I wasn't really in Big D because I landed at DFW, which is also not in Dallas. It's in Arlington, and then I drove around the outskirts of actual Dallas to a town called Allen, where I used to hunt when I was a child. And I swear it is so built up. It's its own major metropolis area.
Oh, really?
If you lived in Allen, you would never have to leave Allen. You would never, like, going to Dallas would be like taking a trip.
Huh.
Because they have everything. Big high-rise offices, corporate entities, work, home, huge restaurant complexes. Yeah, it was crazy.
Which I'm assuming none of that was there when you were there originally.
No, it was sticks.
Yeah, okay.
Frisco, when I left Texas, was like about as far north as people put houses, and it was like farmland.
Oh, wow.
Like open countryside, lots of land per home, and now it's all just congested city life, so it's crazy. But I went up there for the Frontline Gaming Champions Cup, and they did a big 8-man team tournament. It's 8-man teams, team tournament for 40K, and it was tremendous.
Yeah?
It was actually really, really cool. I dread to say that there was a moment when I was there that I was like, I would actually play 40K for this.
Wow.
And if you know me, that's saying something.
So, Monument Team 2025?
Oh, no. No, I'm not that serious. I said there was a point where I was almost feeling like that was a possibility.
Well, if you want to play 40K, let me know.
No, I don't want to play 40K. That's just it. That's what made that special. Is that watching the social aspect of them playing that game was amazing, because I think that's what I miss. Is I don't like the head-to-head aspects of a pure game of chance. Almost not pure chance, but it's as close as you're going to get in a tabletop game, because it's just all about weight of dice. And watching everybody have so much fun because of the game within a game of 8-man team tournaments, where they spend a lot of time at the beginning of the round. The rounds are 4 hours.
Oh,
Because
my
they
goodness.
spend the first hour sorting out who's playing whom.
Really?
It's kind of like a draft mode situation.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to rope-a-dope you to make a pairing call that then they can match up their good player against like a weak player on your
It's
end.
very similar to how it was in like War Machine, right? They did their drafting and team selection very similarly.
I don't know.
Where like you put down a list that you lock in somebody, and then I pick somebody to pair against it, and then I drop another one, and then you pick somebody to pair against it, and then drop another one, and then vice versa until you have 5.
Yeah, maybe. This is
Either way, sounds interesting.
This is everybody just has one list. So unlike
True,
War
yeah,
Machine,
yeah.
you don't get to do that level of
List.
of chicken. But yeah, so they would all sit and make good matchups and then play, and all 8 of your players play. And tons of games going on. There was nearly 500 people there. It was 56 teams of 8 that showed up, and turnout was great. Great. I was, of course, there doing the judging for the paint competition, and we made a rubric with the frontline team that I was really proud of. It was very simple and straightforward. It was made to allow everybody on the team, regardless if they were, a self-proclaimed master at painting or just their first time, they could offer points into the pool with their efforts.
Yeah,
that
totally.
would then allow their team to make it further, and that's what happened. The team that won had so the way this all went is there was a rubric of a bunch of questions, and each one of them was weighted in like a minimum of 10 points per category, and some of them had 20. So it's very fast judging. I think there were 7 questions that you had to ask, or 6, and then one of them was, is it complete? Like, is the army done?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was a binary. It was either 0 points or 20 points.
Oh, very cool.
Right?
Yeah.
So there was no in-between subjectiveness. It was, is it done? Yes. And I walked the judges through and showed them this is a level that I would call done at a minimum level. And then we went from there. And then it would be like, is it consistent? So that I can tell if you put an army together out of all of your friends that play Tau.
Right.
So that none of your Tau look like the same.
do
They're
they all
all
look like
based
they're painted by the
different
same
colors,
person?
different people, the whole nine. That's not consistent, so you would get maybe 0 points on that.
Yeah.
Things like that. How well is it built? So we did ask for it to be good quality build, no
Nice,
mold
okay.
lines, things like that.
Yeah.
But it was very objective and worked out really well. And then at the end, when we got to the final cut, we cut 7 teams, I believe, 6 or 7 teams made final cut out of a total of, there were only a total of like 15 or 16 teams out of 56 that decided to have their stuff get judged. So the only thing that I took away from it is be braver and put your dang models in the competition.
Yeah, because there's probably way more than that had painted armies.
Oh yeah, everybody had to be painted for the competition.
Yeah,
there were no unpainted armies.
I will say,
there were a couple that were black primer and then dry brushed real quick, and then
yeah.
hit with like a couple of colors in spots that you could tell were just done at the last minute to meet the rules of being able to show up and play.
Yeah,
and that's fine. I get it.
Yeah,
but again, the way the rubric was is, let's say you did that army would have checked the done box.
Yep.
Yeah, and it would have gotten 20 points for your team.
Yep.
As opposed to 0 points if they don't put the army down. And so a lot of people I would come by and teams would be like, yeah, we want to be judged, but only 6 of us are here. I'm like, well, go get the other 2 guys and have them put their armies out. Oh, but they're kind of ashamed of their armies. I said, I don't care. They're going to give you points. And I showed them the categories, and immediately they were like, oh, hell yeah. And one of those teams won.
Oh,
one
really?
of those teams had a guy who did not want to. Well, that's not true. Oh no, it is. The team that won had a guy that was not really confident showing his army.
Yeah.
And he had it out there, and I said, don't worry about it. You're going to put points. It's going to help your team. Your team's going to get more points that way, and then you let the strength of your best painters carry the team.
Yep.
I said that's what makes this all fun. And the lowest guy on the totem pole can help their team out in a big way. Because had he not shown his army, they would not have made top cut even.
Oh, wow.
He showed his army, and they won the whole thing.
So he made
because the strength of their
amount.
other 6 painters carried them, but that one guy was necessary, or they would not have had enough points to make the cut.
Yeah, wow.
The other 6, or the only other 7 alone would not have made the finals. It took the people who, at the end, what I did is we have these challenge coins that we make. If you've been to one of the recent shows like Nova or something, you've seen these. We have these challenge coins that are bronze, silver, and gold. And they say monumental excellence on them. They're really fun. I carried a whole bunch of those around with me, and I gave them out to really cool armies that were as individual armies that I would find during the weekend. I would walk around and talk to people and hand them on if they had really cool painted armies. Some of those people didn't even make it into the finals for the thing, or didn't even enter because the rest of the people on their team didn't paint. So the army, hands down, that would have gotten the best painted army of the show, his team did not judge. So he was alone in a team of 7 other people who did not paint to judge, and his army was spectacular. It looked like Ultramarines, but it was Sisters of Battle, and every single model had amazing freehand on it. Wow. Not only was it painted amazingly, but boy did he go crazy.
Are there photos of that floating around somewhere?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, because I that's one of the things I love to do is like look at people's painted armies at shows. It's like really, really cool to see all the interesting things that everybody does.
Yeah, it was a really impressive show in that regard. There were a lot of people that really went out of their way to do some cool conversions and cool paint and things like that. That was pretty awesome. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. But
before, after, ever, thank you for this.
When we got to the that's Gabe.
Hi,
say
Gabe.
hi, Gabe's butt. when we got to the finals, that's what I was saying, is that the team that won had a guy that didn't get one of those coins. Because what I did at the finals, when I had the top 6 or 7 teams, and I was going through, I would look at all 8 armies, and it was just me judging, and I would look at the armies, and I went to the first table, and I just judged them, and I put out bronze, silver, and gold coins on one of the correct value on the army based on what I thought it would rank.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm just starting, and so I'm going around. I'm saying, oh, that's a silver, or that's probably what I would consider a bronze. This one's awesome. I'll give it a gold. Then I would do table 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and at the end, I went back through and balanced them based on what I had seen as I judged the field.
Yeah.
Because I'm only judging the field against the field, not against
Correct.
some idea of
Correct.
a perfect army.
Yep.
Obviously, I have an idea of what complete and good is.
Absolutely.
And I hold them to that regard, but I'm judging your rank versus what your opponents did. So there was still an opportunity to get a gold, unlike a traditional open where if nobody hits the rubric, there's no golds.
Right.
Right. Like at
Correct.
Capital Palette, if nobody hits the gold, we might have bronzes and silvers and no golds. Here, there were going to be golds. Whatever I judged as being the best was going to get gold, because I think that's fun. And I did that, and then we just totaled up points. 3 for a gold, 2 for a silver, 1 for a bronze, and I went and totaled up every team, and that's how we got to the winner.
Cool.
So it was very fair. But yeah, the winning team had enough golds to offset the one guy who didn't even get a coin. Because I was honest in that regard. If your army wouldn't have placed in the pack, if you just did the primer and dry brush,
Sure.
while it got them points to get them to the final cut, it was not going to get a coin.
Yeah, but it's cool because it allows you to not have to feel like you can only, if you want to do well in painting, you don't have to assemble people who are good at painting and also good at the game.
Yeah.
You just have people who play,
Yeah.
who are willing to paint their whole army, and then you have the benefit of being able to get not full marks, but get some amount of marks that help you towards doing well.
Yep. We have one of our viewers. Well, so the second place team was Wyatt Turk, Jack of Clubs Painting.
Oh yeah.
And his team, and he and one of the other guys, the world's tiniest Canadian, they're in here in chat from time to time, and they won. And Tony got pulled in as an alternate and didn't get a coin. But again, his army being done and getting points for the team helped put him in the finals and got him to where they came in second place, which I thought was awesome. So again, I feel like the rubric really worked. I had a lot of fun. I think people really vibed on it and had a good time at the show. So it was good. I liked it. Not very, but how late are they thinking? We do it another day. I mean, I'll stay however late. Having to list the building, so apologize for that.
Ooh. What was your favorite? How do I want to do this? Was there a army that you might have had a favorite like a one model that particularly jumped out at you that you're like, this thing is freaking rad, even though the army wasn't necessarily all the way there? Or was there a particular army that you're like, man, this thing is really, really, really awesome? Or like a couple. Obviously picking one's kind of hard, but
no, that's a good question. There was an army that was on the, I want to say the third place team, although I might be lying to you here. There was a Dark Eldar, or Drukhari, whatever they're called now, army that had all of the standard warriors. I never can remember the name of them. Raiders,
like
or whatever they are.
Raiders or whatever they're called now.
Had them all painted in white. That was just tremendous. The white was done just really, really well for having it be just your baseline troops.
Yeah.
And that army really grabbed my attention. I think that at events like this, I don't know that there was really ever a single model that did. There was a guy who his team made the finals. They did not place at the end, but he had a tremendous set of Chaos Knights who he had like custom 3D printed and converted into these crazy monstrosities. So visually, I think that might have been the coolest looking army.
Okay.
The paint level was not at a super competitive level for him.
Yeah.
It was very good, but it wasn't at the top level. But the models themselves grabbed me, I think, more than anything else. That Sisters of Battle army was really cool once you started picking models off the table and looking at them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's funny because it's tough in 40K to find a specific model that jumps out at you
Mm-hmm.
because 40K's armies are very samey. Does that make sense?
True. Yes, it does. Yeah.
Unlike fantasy armies, that each of the different units tends to feel enough different. Like you have a cavalry unit. Some of the demon armies in 40K feel that way because the demons are pretty different.
Yeah.
Like there was one that had some really good, like old timey Zeech flamers that were neat.
Oh, cool.
But 40K is a very samey looking thing. So picking a single model out, I tend to look at it at the cohesiveness of the army itself. And but there were some amazing models. There was a really, really good Grey Knights conversion for its chapter master or whatever it is, Lord of the Chapter. It was really cool. There were, of course, some dreadnoughts that were really bitching. But yeah, I struggle to find anything that was like superlative as a single model that stands out in my head. That's probably not doing service to these people because there were some amazing things going on there.
Well, it's tough too when you're judging an army painting event, right? You're looking at an army as a whole more than you're looking at individual.
It's funny,
pieces
right?
all the
Because
time.
my brain wasn't tuned to individual models.
Right.
It's odd to say that, but it wasn't how I was viewing the field. I wasn't looking. Cordell saying samey in terms of in an army itself. Yeah, samey as like, yeah, exactly. Sorry, yeah, let me clarify. 40K armies tend to look samey because, like, if you're like, there were a bunch of what are they called? The squats, the new squats.
Leagues of Otan?
Yeah, Leagues of Otan, right? So there's a lot of Leagues of Otan armies. But the Leagues of Otan, it really is just the model type that stands out, like the big rock crawler things they have.
Yep.
Versus all the dudes look exactly the same.
Yep.
Right? And so in that, and this is true of almost all wargaming stuff, if you have rank and file troops, they just tend to all blend together. So picking out any one thing has to be a character model or a big vehicle. And so it's tougher in 40K as opposed to, like I said, with Age of Sigmar or some other fantasy games. There typically are more individual things, like a leader on a dragon, your cavalry on, whatever kind of mounts they've got. Fantasy armies tend to not be quite as samey in and of themselves, if that makes sense. Paint Liquor. Kingdom Death just released a $300 gold Smoke Knight bust. That's crazy.
That seems very expensive for a single bust.
Sounds like Aquatish Panda has her entry ready for the Plaid Discord challenge.
Very nice.
Are you doing that tomorrow or when you get back?
He's
When we
not
get
here
back.
tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
He leaves tomorrow.
I do leave tomorrow.
You guys are stuck with me after today.
You guys will have fun.
Then Jen's gone. It's literally the Jason show.
Yep.
It'll be me, and more me. Even Stormcast have more variety than Space Marines. Yeah, although Stormcast fall victim to that more so than anything else. Although, they came out with like the Dracolith Riders and things like that. I know they just got rid of a bunch of that, but they had a lot of units that did have some flair to them.
Yeah, it's hard when you're looking at like...
And Fuker's like, I love the Jason show when Jen's gone because then he shows us stuff.
You added that part. But you do that when I'm gone. Is that true?
Showing stuff.
I mean,
Well,
I feel like
I
we
assumed
could
that's what I
show
meant.
some stuff
The
right
Jason
now.
show is when I have
I was about to say.
the gall,
Got some
to show people things
stuff
they
within
can't
arm's
buy
reach to
before-
show.
before they're actually
Ready for prime time. I would never do that while Jen's here
No,
or anything,
never.
right? Ever.
Oh, it's real. It's got stuff
Oh,
in
I
it.
can hear the shakers.
You need to check it. Some clear matte varnish for you.
Ooh.
Ta-da!
What?
And no, I will not be using this on stream.
These are the real ones.
No!
No.
Jason,
Iterator,
no!
This is your first time seeing Jason?
Iterator?
Have you only been here since like last week?
Well,
I feel like we've
that's
been here
awesome.
Before that, or do you just happen to only like somehow you've always missed the shows where he's here almost every day?
I think Iterator is just relatively new.
I guess.
Within the last week or two. That's crazy to me.
That might be a first, right?
Yeah.
That somebody has found our show and doesn't know me.
Did you want that? Do you want your own camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clear matte varnish.
Clear matte.
Oh. Oh.
Boy.
Oh, he's actually gonna spray it in here.
It's real.
Actually.
Huh?
When? Mo just says when.
It's
So
real.
Rattle can said when.
I'm not gonna spray anymore.
Rattle
I'd
cans.
spray a model, except it would make us all pass out.
Logically would be very excited about this. It's right in the name.
Eat Jeep Nate, run! But I have seen the videos. Okay, see, you know.
See that number right there? That's more.
Yeah, you take your own advice too, Philip.
That's more than the 350 to 400 that our competitors do. From Rattle Can. Nice.
I'm so excited for this. I'm like unreasonably excited for these, by the way.
Oh yeah, right? I'm super stoked. Route the Great, the airbrush clear varnish won't be out for a while. I say a while. Soon. But not at the same time.
Don't forget to wave when you're flying over Dublin tomorrow. I don't think I fly over Dublin tomorrow. I fly directly into Copenhagen, and then I fly from Copenhagen to Düsseldorf. Oh dang! There it is. Matt White.
What?
Who's Matt?
Why is he?
Oh boy, yeah. We don't want to be spraying that stuff inside.
Yeah, no, I can
You
smell that
already
now.
Smell it over here, and you
Yeah.
only sprayed a tiny bit.
Yep. Matt Black. Oh man.
The real deal.
Blood Walrus, it's about as imminent as anything we've shown on stream in its final form. So yes.
Yeah. This Matt guy makes a ton of money.
He makes a ton of money. Soon enough for good stocking
Fancy
stuffers? Yeah. Yeah. We should have an update in the Discord. If you're not part of the Discord, make sure you join the Discord. Jen will put the link up in chat. But we should have information on the actual launch in the next day or so for timing. We have sent out pre-order, to give you an idea on how our product releases go, we sent out pre-order notice to stores today. So we usually give them a week head start to get all their pre-orders in. So it could be as early as next week or early the following week. So when you say imminent, when Jen is nodding and saying yes, it's imminent, it's like a week or two max before you'll be able to buy them.
Very quickly.
It is not an acrylic rattle can. It is a heavier solvent. I mean, it's an acrylic resin, but it's not a acrylic polyurethane paint. It's a solvent lacquer, which is why we're getting high off of the fumes.
Just a tiny bit. I can smell it over here.
You can smell it all the way over there.
You can switch it back to him.
Best deadline for holiday orders. Like to get it by Christmas. I mean, we ship via USPS and UPS, so whatever their deadlines are, when you would want to
You're not anywhere
make
close.
sure you would want to order it.
No fear.
Oh, I thought you were saying I was off camera.
No. For holiday.
No, but if you're like thinking of waiting until and ordering it before the holidays, give yourself a week maybe.
Oh yeah, in the
Before you
States
need
for
it?
sure. And it's only sold in
It's only
in the
sold in the-
contiguous lower
in the
48.
Lower 48.
So unfortunately, Alaska and Hawaii, you don't get it. Danger extremely delicious. What?
Danger extremely delicious.
Yeah, this is the big knockout
Right?
punch.
It's not
to
even
people.
Halloween yet.
We haven't even eaten turkey. It hadn't even Halloween. Well, though it's not even October, and people are already putting their Halloween decorations out.
Yes, there
That's
are
true.
already Halloween decorations, and
People are
stores
crazy,
have
man.
Christmas
Crazy.
stuff.
I got more to
already.
think about. I can't even remember we're that close to Halloween. These people are already putting their decorations out.
I don't even care about Halloween.
Is that one of the few products that have solvents you all offer? Heavy solvents, yes. Like a lacquer solvents, yes. Yep, only one. Everything else is water-based, non-toxic. Water's technically still the solvent, but yeah. How crowded are people's offices? None. It's all in the warehouse. All in the warehouse, just barely. All in the warehouse.
Yeah.
We better not get a shipment of anything else anytime soon, or we're in trouble. Actually, what should happen is that our stores and you guys should just buy it all
To make room for other stuff.
to make room for more of it.
Yep.
We've got way more on the way, too, so it is a big investment for us. We will have all sorts of fun news in the next few months, weeks, days regarding all that, so it's good. Okran says, challenge accepted. I'm ordering 5,000 matte blacks.
It's a lot. It's a lot of cans of matte black.
He goes, he's like, I mean, if you force me to buy the good paints, I guess. Does it make God? Freaking mind of its own thing over here, deciding to
on the remote, hit the 10%.
Yeah, I know.
And, that.
Your work productivity always tanks about this time. Eep Jeep, you need a banner? What do you mean you need a banner? Yeah, I might not seem it, but I got super excited when they told me the cans were here today.
No, you were definitely excited. I can tell.
The first day back after being gone for a week and a half is always a beatdown. Anybody else get that in your life when you get back from, like, even though it wasn't a vacation where I was off like on a beach someplace or whatever, it's like just getting acclimated to being in the office again is always tough. Patrick Laughlin, there will be a tutorial video on how to use the rattle cans. As a matter of fact, we'll be shooting that while Jordan is over in Germany. So one or more of the gang here will be doing some stuff. They were already prepping some models for testing and final QA on the stuff that we've got. We've got tens of thousands of cans, so I hope you guys need spray paint. We're super stoked. Get back to 18 voicemails. Luckily, I don't get voicemails.
We don't get a whole lot of phone calls.
Don't get a lot of phone calls, but
Emails,
emails
though?
on the other
Yeah,
hand
emails.
is like an absolute sea of them. But I was pretty good with keeping up with them up until Friday when I got back to town. So I generally check my email during the weekends too. I did not. I was beat when I got home on Friday, and I didn't check until this morning, and it kind of piled up. So
Did you see Lumberjack Tim's question about the prices on the sprays? Are they looking more like Krylon or Citadel?
so they are $18.50 MSRP for 500 ml cans.
Does that include the glaze or the glaze and wash medium? The matte varnish as well?
Everything, yeah.
That's awesome.
He gets a lot of Gabe coming in his office.
Yeah, so up against the Citadels and Army painters, and that's really it in our industry as far as hobby acrylics that are made for doing models and, you know, based on thickness and viscosity and all that. So they are different, right? But yeah, they're not, their price value like we do with Procryl. Everything we do is based off of, you know, give you more value and better quality. Two simple steps, and that's what we've done here too.
Black, gray, white, and matte varnish.
Yep. You got it, Teachman. Yeah, so you get, about 30% more per can for the same or lower price than the competition. Just like our normal paints. And better quality.
Better quality to boot.
Nick from Gray Primer, I finally got my latest diorama completed and the video shipped, so tomorrow I'm doing nothing productive at all. I love those days where you feel like you got to the end of your to-do list and you're like, you know what I'm going to do? Nothing. We don't get those a lot around here because we never get to the end of our to-do list, but it's good to reward yourself.
I feel
Treat
like
yourself.
I did a good job of prepping for travel this weekend. So my to-do list is not insane, which feels really good. Because usually it's not the case. I'm up until the wee hours of the morning throwing stuff into a suitcase.
I get a lot of Gabe coming in my office. This is also true. Gabe's left me alone. Jordan's been the one bugging me today because he's about to leave town.
Yep.
So he's trying to dot all the I's and cross all the T's before he gets out of here.
Yes, sir.
Gabe's been leaving me alone.
Sorry.
No, it's not bad.
Needs to be done, unfortunately. I just wanted to make sure you got enough of me before I left.
Hi.
Hey. Oh.
I did. I missed my baby Jay good mornings.
I know. I gave you a nice good one this morning.
Good morning.
I do say it pretty much every single morning that I walk in.
I feel like there's something wrong when you don't.
Yeah, I'm usually having a rough morning if I don't. Yeah, it's a pretty good way to tell if I'm struggling on that morning for some reason.
Awkward has finished up your plaid entry, so now today was relax and paint some D&D models just for you. I love how the plaid made it feel like the plaid was a job. See how that worked in there? See what you did?
Yes. Yeah.
That was a
Yeah. Yeah.
I think painting plaid is a joy.
It is joy.
Candace said I took it very seriously.
I just said that with a straight face for a minute, for a couple seconds there.
Nick from Gray Primer. Hey Jordan, what movies are you watching on the flight? I don't know.
You on American?
No. On Scandinavian Airlines.
Scandinavia. I don't know what movie choices they have then.
Well, I'm gonna preload a whole bunch of stuff on my iPad.
That's probably a smart bet.
That's what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah.
So.
Or it'll be like 18 versions of Troll Hunter.
Yeah, I have no idea what they have on the Scandinavian Airlines. I'm traveling them almost the entire way. I travel Delta from here to LA, and then I fly from LA to Copenhagen, 10.5 hours.
Those are rookie numbers.
It's a long flight.
It is a long flight. Turns out anything over about 4 hours feels like a lifetime.
Yeah, 10 hours is in fact a long flight. On the bright side, I do have a long layover in LA, so I can get my way through LAX because that airport is a nightmare.
You went to Portland a few weeks ago, and your Plex server was working hard to download all of your shows. Being silly is serious business. Yes, it is. Snakes on a plane.
Where do I download stuff onto my iPad?
So you have Netflix, I assume, and so you can actually download those.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, so you don't
From
have to have
Netflix?
internet while you're flying.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know. I was like, I'm probably gonna have to just rely on what they have.
Yeah, if you go into the app on your device,
Okay.
it'll be in there. You'll see
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Cool.
You might have to dig around for a little bit. I don't
What
remember.
airline are you on, babe?
American.
American?
Yeah, British Airways, but American. I think I fly American from here to London. And then I don't know what from London to Dusseldorf. And then on the way back, it's British Airways, I think. American. Get to New York.
Yeah, American's literally slacking in the. I've been traveling so much though, so it's not like they change the movies every week for me.
That's
It's the
true.
same
Yeah.
It's like once a
bad
month.
choice.
I think they change them every month.
Yeah, it's the same bad choice of, 3 Spider-Man movies, Infinity War, Endgame, and a bunch of nonsense I don't care about.
You
I
know
think
what?
he's not actually spending any time there. He's just the airport. Just a flight change or plane change.
Didn't Baby J say he will do more freehand stuff on that mini? No,
Not on this one.
not on this one. I ain't doing any freehand on
Doesn't
this.
have any freehand on it.
No, sir. There's a new Tex Talks Battletech vid you could listen to for 2 hours.
Was that for me? That was a good suggestion.
Yeah, great,
Thanks, Philip.
great suggestion, Philip.
I want to quiz Jen on all the TED Talks information she got, or Text Talks. The Text Talks Battletech. They're fun. They are fun videos to listen to. They have some really good stuff, but it is very insider joke. It is not outsider friendly. If you do not partake in the world of Battletech, I don't know that Text Talks
Is for you.
is for you. You have to either want to be in that world or already in that world. It's not really a newcomer's thing.
Philip said I knew you'd like it, Jen. He knows.
But
he
you
knows
started
my taste.
freehanding on the legs. All that's built into the sculpt.
Yeah, that's not freehand.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Oh my
all
gosh.
the sculpt.
That's some impressive freehand.
Oh,
Man, Jason, I'm really good at freehand these days.
Yes.
I would. Yeah, I would not want to freehand that right now. That's a lot of, especially the
thing right here
one in the
too
chest,
is
the
part
mandala
of
in the chest.
the sculpt.
That was
that
hard
Phil,
to do.
Was that Phil that recommended Text Talks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course it was.
Of
Hey,
course.
Phil, you know
Of
what? I
course.
finally got my shipping update from the Catalyst team that my Battletech
Oh, was it? It's a
Kickstarter
notification that
is
it was
coming.
delayed. Oh
No.
no. Okay.
is coming. No, they asked me for to verify my address because they were shipping them
Oh.
out.
Wow.
So, Battletech imminent. Battletech mercenaries.
So what you're
imminent.
saying
Imminent.
is,
imminent.
I
What I'm
gotta
saying
gear
is
up.
that there's going to be another 40 plus models we got to paint, Jordan. And by we, I mean me. So I got to come up with a new color scheme and put together an entire another
new-
mercenary company.
Okay, what's it gonna be called? Carry On? Great. And we're Wayward Sons? I'm so into it. We gotta find another great name. You killed it right off the bat for the first one. Can you go 2 for 0?
2 for 0.
I don't know how.
2 for 2.
2 for 2.
We'll figure something out. We'll figure
is
something
anybody
out.
going to announce a new? Even though I know we're not reviewing the September challenge until we're back, is anyone going to create and announce an October challenge before that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So why
We'll figure it out.
Someone will handle it before
Yes.
then. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Philip, have you gotten yours? Did you order the Kickstarter? I don't remember.
Oh, I know what we should do.
But
Undead October.
it is October. It is the month of fright.
It is the month of fright.
So we could do the month of undeath.
I think the month of undeath is great.
There you go,
There you
Chet.
go.
The month of
Start
undeath.
thinking.
Got to paint something undead.
Undead October.
Spooktober.
Philip said he got his in July.
Oh, I hate you. How'd you get it in July? You didn't order yours before I did. Did you? Mo got yours last week? Oh my god. Or Weck, sorry.
Sounds like you're being done pretty dirty by people over there at Catalyst. I ordered it. Gen Con 2023.
Bastage. Can't type. Mo can't type. He's still excited about the matte varnish. As you should be, sir.
I'm excited about it too.
Object says the parade scheme is magenta with gray trim on the right half of the units and camo on the left. That sounds horrible to have to paint. I got to come up with something cool for them, though. I was thinking something in the range of blues, like turquoise,
Ooh, okay.
Turquoise, blue, jade kind of range. Come up with something cool there. Got to be simple because I'm probably going to have to paint like another 40. So I got to come up with something that is repeatable, quick, and looks bitchin'.
You think the jade would be far enough away from the green that you already did?
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah, the current ones are purple shadows.
Yeah.
And then the green with the wash on the top turned into kind of a camo yellow.
Yeah.
Right? Like an earth tone camo. I'm talking about doing the next ones more of a bright color.
You know, it'd be cool is if you did them in something similar to how you did the Contemptor for that video. Maybe different undertone, keep it cooler, maybe.
Like the bruised white.
Yeah, that'd look cool.
I want something jazzy.
Jazzy.
Yeah. No. 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 No.
I tried, folks. I tried.
The first Sky Jaegers. So I don't go looking at like camo specs. I don't really care about the Canon. We just paint. Turquoise Hawk's definitely not related to the clans. Wait a minute.
Yeah, this is the other
Jade
question.
Falcon.
Are you painting more? Are you painting clan or are you painting more Innisphere?
Don't remember. The thing about this one is it's the mercenaries, so it has all of the stuff that is kind of in that realm. Like, I don't know if it's all jihad era or whatever, but it's a bunch of weird mechs. It's a bunch of clan and Innisphere mixed together.
Well, and you have some like tanks and like
I got all the
stuff,
vehicles.
right?
Yeah, I got all the vehicles
too,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Those will be really cool to see you paint on stream.
Yeah. Wow, the only thing you care about is an AC-20? No. LB-20X. That way you can fire solid slug or spread. It's a shotgun.
It's a shotgun.
Forget the AC-20. I don't even remember. I don't even think the AC-20 gives you any range over the LB, does it? LB-20X is your friend. Most of the Merc stuff were Innisphere, but the current era, all the factions have had enough time to swap. Yeah, exactly.
What did you think of the crazy new store, Jason?
It's pretty fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. We talked about it a little briefly earlier, but I was curious what you thought.
Yeah, we legit have one of the best stores in the nation right here in
Yeah.
our hometown now, as of this weekend.
Yeah.
Don't be jealous.
Yeah. Don't be jealous. Come down and visit and say hello
Yeah.
and check it out.
ERPPCs and hope you can handle the cook. I don't like PPCs for that reason. Most of the mechs that I run all the time are ones that can pretty much alpha strike and run and be fine. I painted with some monument stuff once, all the time. That
So,
one day, every
Malev.
day. What's going on, Malev? Yep.
We use
Jade and
Monument
Chuck are planning
products
on coming down.
in days that end in Y.
Philip runs a flash man because all the heat sinks and all the lasers.
Oh, Philip, you silly goose. You and your laser machines.
Lasers are good.
You're painting astronauts.
Ooh. Painting some, what is it called again? There's that astronaut game. Lunar, yeah. That game is neat.
Relax Studio. What's up, crew? Got your coin from the August challenge. Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
In the Army, you randomly receive a coin for achieving something. That's cool.
I tell you that being at the tournament made me really want to have a really nice completed army again.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Right? Just one that I never even have to play. I just want it in a case. So when you come and look, because I got to tell you, in the world of miniatures, it's cool to like hold a bust and look at somebody that painted a really cool bust. You know, you look at like Eric Swinson or somebody and they paint something that's really neat and come up with some ideas you'd like to steal or whatever.
Yep.
And you look at it, it's like, oh, this is bitchin'. When you look at a very high quality army,
Yep.
There's something that just puts you right in the thick of what I love about this hobby.
Yep.
Entirely.
Yep.
It's like, here is this amassed effort and all these cool things to look at. Each one of them slightly different. It feels like you could stare at it for hours.
Yep.
You know?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Teachman said you have the tools, Jason. You can do it.
No, I don't.
You also
Yeah,
have the skill.
I have faith in your ability to get that to happen.
I don't know.
Paint Liquor, is that in response to Jason saying he wants to paint an army?
Probably. Here we go again.
You heard this one before.
I'm a broken record with this, but I never get it done. You know, we did the 2,000 points in a week with it had to be something like that where we got it to like 75% done in a week. I get bored.
Yeah.
And that's a bad thing, right? Because I really enjoy painting single models. Larger scale characters and monsters and things like that is really my wheelhouse. That's where I have the most fun.
True.
I like putting in, I put in so much effort per model that armies are tough for me. Because it's hard to pull back and think of it in terms of, hey, I want to put all this effort into an army. That means that not every model has to be at that level, right? In order to achieve an army that looks phenomenal. But I still want to paint the one mini to that highest level. And then you look and you say, oh, now I have to do that 100 more times.
No, thank you. Relax Studio said if you could paint any 40K army, which would it be, Jason?
Who asked that?
Relax Studio.
You've got a couple good ones right now.
Well, but he's asking if you could paint any.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I think I want to finish my Blood Angels.
Yeah.
You know? And because the way that I built that army could be a 30K or a 40K army. And I feel like just the pragmatic sense of it gets me there. But also I just really like those models.
Yeah.
So that may be something we throw some time at on stream here soon.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we do that tomorrow. No, we won't, because I have to build a bunch of models. And that isn't going to take that's going to take a long time. So maybe I'll do that like over the weekend or something. But Awkward says Jason picks a paint scheme and an army, and everybody sends me a model for the army until it's whoa. Wait, does that mean like for a monthly challenge I can do that, and then you guys just have to send in your entries and I get a painted army out of it? Painted by chat?
This sounds
Now that would be
great.
phenomenal. I'm down for that. I'm down for everybody paints up a model, enters it into the monthly challenge, and then I own them.
Yeah.
And I will go out and play the game with the army painted by chat, commissioned by chat.
Oh my
That'd
gosh.
be cool. Blood Angels Battletech Mercenary Company, I'm down. I will paint my entire Battletech army red. That actually might be cool. Red and white.
Red could be cool.
Red, gray, and white.
Cool.
Could be fun. But if I'm going to do Blood Angels, then I'm not going to paint my Battletech
Oh yeah,
red.
definitely don't do that. Definitely
I
don't
would
do
be
that.
so sick of red. Dark Angels have 3 color schemes. Well, I have a Dark Angels army that's sort of enough to play with, but I kind of I petered out on it too. You know? I have a lot of fun, and then you get down to the details where I spend all my time, and I'm like, not gonna do this with 50 more models.
Wait, Paint Liquor said I'd hand deliver it. That's pretty huge. Paint Liquor never comes here.
What?
Dang.
You know you want to have 40 Comstar mechs. No, I don't. I would paint them as Space AT&T.
Based AT.
I would go out and I would buy from that company that does the custom decals, AT&T logo, and put it all over them.
I think I would laugh so hard if you just have little space AT&T.
See, Wad, that's the problem too. That's where I think I really got disillusioned for my army painting stuff. Is that if I was really into a game and wanted to paint the army to play the game, then by the time I got the army done, the army was no fun in the game anymore. The game changed and all that stuff. They just change additions at about the pace that I paint. Paint so much red you fall into the black rage. See, that's the only problem with the Blood Angels that I want to do as 30K/40K is that there's no death company in 30K. And so it kind of strips back the ability to paint those guys the way, and I really like those models.
They got a bunch of new models coming out too for Blood Angels.
Yeah, I don't care about those. I have all my Primaris scale 3D printed ones.
That's true.
That are all in like Mark II and 3 armor.
What is the deal with AT&T?
So Comstar in the BattleTech lore is the army that is put together to protect the HPG network, which is the hyperpulse network that sends messages at light speed across the galaxy.
Okay.
So they're basically space AT&T. They have an army that keeps people from taking over the communication network that they run, and so everybody calls them space AT&T.
I see.
Mark III and Mark II. I like Mark II armor. I don't remember which one's Mark III is iron armor or whatever.
Yeah, Mark III is got the thing on its head and the bulky. It's not the knight armor. The knight armor I think is
2. That's just the 5 leg. Play Necromunda instead. Less models, more freedom.
or Kill Team.
Yeah, I know there's
Kill Team.
Mechanicum for 30K. And they just came out with some plastics.
Yes, they did.
That's Mike.
Namer
Namer
Mason?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a lot of Forge World resin around here for AdMech.
Yeah, because you had a bunch for your Dark Angels.
For my
right?
Dark Angels, yeah. Because one of the things in my Dark Angels list is, they used to call it Brotherhood of Iron. I don't know what it's called now, but it was in the later Heresy era, the Tech Marines would basically conscript a bunch of the AdMech automatons to fight alongside because there were just not enough Marines at the end of the Heresy for legions to go to war. So I have a ton of the AdMech stuff that would go in with my Dark Angels.
That's cool.
What in the world was AT&T's look from the 80s? They didn't exist, right?
Did they not?
I mean, maybe they did. It was Ma Bell back then, right? I'm sure they did exist at some level, but they really only took the stage when they broke up Ma Bell.
System was the monopoly in the Bell system was ended on January 8th, 1982.
Okay. 1982.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Bell Telegraph.
Bell Telegraph.
My whole family worked for Bell Telegraph, and when it all split, they went to Southwestern Bell. It was declared a monopoly, monopolistic practices, and the government broke it up.
Did anyone know that when you Google Go Bag Evo, Google classifies the bag as a vehicle?
Well, there you go. Thanks, Google.
Thank you.
You were only a few months old when it split up. I wasn't quite a teenager if it was 82. I was a preteen.
I think this guy is basically done.
Looking good.
Yeah, finished all the things that I was supposed to sort out. Cleaned up a couple of other small things. And
How you gonna base him?
So I didn't really do anything. Well, I didn't really do anything for Danav, right? I just painted.
I love the rock on the black.
I do too.
I love
It
them
looks
when they're
cool.
not meant to be anything other than like portraits on a
Right.
black plant. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it looks really good. I think I do the same thing with Devondra.
I
Just
did.
do the
I did
black.
it on Danav, and I was like, this actually looks really good. So.
Now it's reprime time, says Paint Liquor.
Yeah, I did it once. I'm gonna do it again. Except I'm gonna grab black primer. Right in front of me.
Oh, I think he meant the whole model, and you just scared me.
No, God, no. No. No,
He's
no,
like,
no.
it's time to reprime, and you're like,
Oh
yep,
my
here we go.
God, can you imagine how Gabe would? Oh my God, Gabe would be so mad at me. Gabe would be livid.
Chuck, I just Googled it and it just showed me the Go Bag Evo.
Because I told Gabe, I was like, Gabe, I'll have it ready for you so that you guys can take photos while I'm gone.
You hate Wad. You hate most modern logo designs. Old logos. Some of the old logos are fun for sure, right? But I think the retro nostalgia of them is what makes them fun. Graphics definitely go in that generational pattern of, you know, sometimes you would have them be like overly detailed and people would not like them, and then overly detailed becomes the rage, and all the old ones that were fun, and you put them on, you know, t-shirts that are faded and. Got to tour the inside of one of the phone internet company's connection offices. Wild to see how much goes into making that stuff work. Rows and rows of switchboards and batteries. Well, I can only imagine. The infrastructure to make all that stuff is work is got to be pretty in depth.
I just am imagining the old school telephone operators who would have the big board with all cords.
Big
that
switchboard.
They would unplug and plug.
Yeah, it's the same. It's just there's more people at it nowadays. Wouldn't that be awesome? If there's like a secret society of people that work digital switchboards,
Oh
every
my
call you
gosh.
make, somebody's sitting there with like a wire in their brain and they're just having to press buttons real fast.
That sounds crazy.
I'm
to me.
connecting you to Botswana.
To Botswana.
When I was in Dallas, there was a big bunker building. It literally looked like a nuclear-proof bunker on the side of the highway that was a telecom place. IT. It was a I don't know what do you even call it, a switch hub for a major ISP right off the highway. And it was like, look, military-grade bunker. Big, ugly. You could tell the walls were probably 4 foot thick concrete.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's insane.
Right off the freeway. And I asked the driver, "What is that ugly ass building?" And he goes, "Oh, that's the one of the main switch hubs for whatever ISP it was." Panic bomb, probably. Well, yeah. I mean, probably servers and stuff for a big ISP. So it was the internet for that part of the world. Like, I feel like if that building caught fire, a lot of people would have a very bad day.
True. Very true.
Oh, I thought you meant.
The real life astropathic choir. Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Now what do I paint, chat?
You find the clean, minimalistic design boring? Well, you hate Monument then. We made a decision a long time ago that our logo would just be boring because our products do all the cool stuff.
That's
As opposed
cool,
to, if you sell toilet paper, your logo's got to be the fun thing,
Yeah.
right? Because the rest of it's just commodity. Our products are the fun thing, so the logo can just fade away. It could just be the white on the black. Mike says no plaid smog. Oh, he did it. He's just not. I have to show it to you when he's gone. He's gonna paint Smaug's wings plaid.
We're gonna fix that one in post, right?
Yeah. In post.
Ugh.
Papa Chicken says that model is beautiful. You should be proud of yourself, Jordan.
Thank you.
Turned out really good.
I'm very happy with how these turned out. I'm also very happy that Ben has been very excited about them. He's been
Ben dropped in. What was it, Friday maybe?
he's been in a couple of
stream.
different
A
days,
few
yeah.
times, yeah.
Nice.
And he's had nothing but great things to say, so that makes me feel very good. The guy whose brain all of this stuff originated from is likes the finished products of the paint job, which is a good sign.
We just got to get the packaging done, which I think Gabe is going to begin work on. We have so much going on this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
James says, probably sick of telling the story, but why is the company called Monument? So, this is always a tough one, right? Because the real honest to God answer is because Monolith was taken. Believe it or not. I wanted it to be like the 2001 Monolith with the big, black monolith with a white M on it and a monkey banging a bone against the side was the graphic that I wanted, right? I was totally going to rip it from 2001. I thought it was
That's
great.
awesome.
And then, of course, Monolith is a video game publishing house. And so we were unable to get any kind of trademarkable reference because the distinguishing nature between video games and tabletop and all that is too hard. The trademark office would probably not allow that to fly.
Yeah.
So we did our due diligence and we were like, well, Monument's there and we can kind of do the same thing. So our first Monument logo was the 2001 Monument. It had the M sitting on top of it. I never did the monkey banging the femur on it. But we had that and that was fun. But then we just got a little bit more streamlined and a graphic that could look less cartoony. That was kind of bridging the gap between Slow Fuse Gaming and Monument, because Slow Fuse Gaming had, if you'll see in chat, the bomb snail and the unicorn that represent myself and Jen. And so we had a neat kind of cartoony flair and very colorful for all the stuff we did at Slow Fuse. And then when we changed to Monument in 2018, that's it. That's the story.
And now we're here.
And now we're Monument Hobbies and can't remember why. It being in Arizona, everybody's like, oh, it's from Monument, Arizona. Because we're the Monument State.
That's what I was
No.
asking as well originally.
And we're like, no.
No.
But if that's what you want to think, then roll with it.
I do love that the barbershop that I go to is called Monument Barbershop.
Yeah, there's Monument Barber. There's all sorts of Monument thing companies in here because we're that Monument State with the freaking Grand Canyon and all that. But no, it didn't even cross my mind at the
it has
time.
nothing to do with that.
I don't think any of us sat
Worked
down.
out.
There were 5 of us involved in that discussion early on, and we all just kind of settled on that.
You're thinking of like a monument is something that's like, like a tribute to something that's good and strong and recognizable.
And it sort of gets the same sort of visual that you were looking for before.
Yeah, we've moved away from that being a care of mine, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
Iterator, and when did you start making paint and why? We started that journey in 2016, not long after we started the company on its own. It was called Slow Fuse Gaming because it was based on my video game streaming name from years back from the Justin TV days. And then in 2016, we switched from doing video games to painting miniatures. We started making products not long after that. We made our first brushes in late 2016, early 2017. The Go Bag I designed and we had made. Jen developed the Gentastics Drunken Brush Goop soap. So we had a lot of what we'll call the paraphernalia products to the hobby. And we were using other people's paint at the time and painting live on stream. And I was always having fits with different paints, but I'd been painting for over 45 years. And so I had my way of dealing with the problematic issues that come from paints not being made for art. And let me go back and say why I say it that way. Liquid acrylics have never really been thought of as an artistic medium.
Mm-hmm.
They were always a like a get it done type task. You know, you think
Craft
finger
paint.
paints like tempera paint and finger paints
Mm-hmm.
and house paint, right? Like acrylic latex house paint. And so they weren't really built for art. And so to get them to perform in an artistic way, you would do different things. And same with enamels. Enamels weren't made for art. But they were like testers enamels that came out first, so you had to do stuff with them too and thin them, and they were crappy thick and all that stuff. So I just grew up in a world where you had to work with paint to get it to do what you wanted to if you're painting three-dimensional surfaces, especially small miniatures, where you could clog all the detail of hand sculpted chainmail very easily if you didn't thin your enamel down far enough, right? And so we embarked on that journey because one day on stream, I was painting a white cloak with a particular brand's airbrush white, and it was giving me fits. And I was like, screw it, I'm going to show chat how to make paint. And I got some high-end artist grade titanium white and a bunch of very good mediums. And I started mixing in, witches brewing it together, nothing that you couldn't do. And made a white that when I sprayed it through the airbrush, everybody was like, oh my God, we'd buy that. Please make that. White sucks. And so Jen and I kind of giggled about it. We made a batch and gave them away. I think on stream, we gave away some and sold them for like, I don't know, $4 or $3.95 or something like that.
Like $3.50 or something.
$3.50, yeah. They wasn't very expensive. And so we made these hand done bottles of white. And it was just made from other manufacturers' products mixed together in a certain way. And then we got such a huge demand for it, and it propelled us into really having the hard conversations about, okay, well, how do we make paint in a sustainable way that, doesn't put us in the same bracket with all the competitors whose paint we didn't think performed right in the first place, right? So as I started reaching out, it kept moving us towards the same 2 or 3 manufacturers that everybody in our industry uses to make their paint.
Yep.
From the P3, too thin coats, they're made in the same factory. There's not a whole lot of difference between them. There's a little bit of Chinese menuing you can do to alter stuff, but it really is going to be the coating company's way of doing paint, and that's how everybody's paint is going to feel very similar that comes out of that factory. You just get to pick your colors. And it wasn't, there was a time where Jen and I sat around and it was like, okay, well, that'll be cool, and we'll see, and people buy it. But we couldn't afford it, number one, because they have minimum buy-ins. That's why all these people do these big Kickstarters and need a lot of money because it's not cheap to just start a paint line. And we just since we couldn't afford it, we said, well, maybe there's another way. So to get to the why of the question, which I kind of already hinted at, is I figured there was a way to take artist-grade paint, if that's a term that means anything. Because as an artist, it's kind of like chaos. You can use whatever you want that gives you the outcome. But for a paint that is artist grade, meaning that if you're not an artist, you will feel the difference of the paint being part of your toolkit, that will make art easier for you. That was my goal, right? How can I make a paint that does what everybody wants it to do at every level, so that new people feel comfortable with it and gain more confidence quickly because they're not fighting their paint like you do with other brands. And especially with the cheaper they get, the worse they get from a handling perspective. So, so that was kind of our goal. And as we were doing research, it was very discouraging. We were like, oh, heck, in order to do this is a tremendous amount of cash outlay. Jen and I didn't have any money. Jen was working, she had just quit teaching and was working a job still in the teaching space for a tech company that did distance learning software. And then she moved to being an assistant principal at a charter school here. So she was still in that world. She was making all of our money. She was the one floating the boat, paying the rent. And I was mad scientisting it, trying to come up with ways to get this to work. And we fell in with a lab who was made up of fantastic people who love the world of fine art. And it just so happens one of them was crazy enough to say, we can probably do this. and took what we had done with our paints, added it to their knowledge base of what they knew how to do, and came up with ProAcryl and created a formula that is legit. I mean, I don't know everybody's manufacturing process, but I pretty much guarantee we're the only company that grinds our pigment, right? Because everybody else just gets their paints made, And so the pigment from the supplier gets reground before it gets put into the emulsion, if you will. And so it's just a better quality production all the way from start to finish to make it a fine art grade paint. One of the best compliments we get is people that work in like other art areas, especially like the tattoo world, that will say like, hey, in the world of tattooing, finding an ink that has high enough and dense enough pigmentation is very tough. And that's when you found the best quality and you pay for it. It's very high, top notch. Because obviously when you're putting pigment in people's skin and it's, getting exposed to UV all the time, it discolors very quickly if it's not good. And they rank all of our paints up there beyond that world of pigmentation. So, we knew we had something when people in the art space were like, oh my God, how did you do this in liquid form? This, basically gives you everything that you want from a heavy body acrylic, but it moves like a finger paint,
Nick Pye said, "Are you saying my $3.14 tips weren't cutting it for rent?" That was our pie money.
No, not at all.
For treats.
The community grew this brand with us. It was great, right? It was something where the fact that you guys and gals, some of you have been here that whole time. There's people in this chat probably that were around at this time, and that motivation from people being like, hey, we love what you guys are doing. From the education, the painting on stream, and giving the tips and tricks. All the way to then the products. It's been funny that over the years, a lot of people would be like, hey, I've learned so much from your stream. I bought ProAcryl just because I wanted to support everything that you had done for the community. The amount of people that sent us that email back in the day was tremendous. And it really was amazing and humbling that people were like, I don't even care. I'm just going to support you because you guys do this stream and you teach painting and you have such a great community and all that. And we love that. And then it was funny because the next email would be like, holy heck, I opened your paint and I used it. I didn't realize it was going to be good paint too. And we get that, we can kind of go back to those emails and be like, yeah, that's where it started. Was a community supporting us because of the things we were doing, not because they needed another paint, and then trying the paint and being hooked and being like, oh, wow, your vision really worked. It really is different. It really does work. So thank you.
Vector said, how would you say the grind makes a difference?
Just to be able to make sure that it's as fine as it can possibly be. And getting all of what's that?
Would that make the paint smoother?
Well, there's a lot of factors into whether or not a paint's smooth because you're not painting with mud, so it's not like a cement where well, it is. If I were to put big pebbles into concrete, then it's going to be big pebble concrete and rough. And if I put finer ground cement and fewer pebbles, then it's going to be much smoother. So there is a component to it like that. But what it does is it gets a lot of the impurities out through the grinding process. Even for synthetic pigments and stuff, there's going to be anomalies that are in there. So regrinding and refiltering can just be another layer of kind of cleaning out the debris and the nonsense and making sure that it's as close to the pure pigment as you can get it. So smoothness, dispersion, right? The finer the grind, the more it disperses throughout the suspension. So you get better clarity of color and opacity. It's no joke, right? It really does give you better quality paint that gives you better quality results without you having to be a master tactician in making your paint work.
Can we talk about how awesome our coal black is real quick?
Namer McNamison's like, wait, your paint's good? I'm glad I bought it. I just thought you people were cool.
Look at this base.
Add that in.
That
Mike.
looks good.
Like,
Looks really good.
I can't even see the brush stroke. That is so good.
And that's our primer.
No, this is our primer and then a coat of...
Primer and coal
I put a coat of black on
coal
top.
black off the top. Okay, cool.
But the primer was also very smooth like this. This is the... Decided to redo his base as well, get them all nice and clean.
They look good. They look really good.
Yeah, the idea behind ProAcryl is the idea that I use when I'm doing any product is that it better really solve a problem. And the problem for me was that new painters, you've got to you almost had to want it more than I could expect somebody to want it as a new person in the hobby in order to make it work for you. And, you know, when I was honest about the frustrations, that was me. I loved painting models so much I would do whatever it took to paint models.
Yep.
You know, back when it was enamels, there were no acrylics, oil paints. You just, you know, you made it work. And it was always a hassle. And so let's take the hassle out of it. Boom. Pro acrylic.
Mike, we're not describing coffee because you don't brew the pigment.
You
And
don't brew the pigment.
yeah, and you're not. You're also not painting with coffee.
Wouldn't that be crazy if you had to brew paint?
Iterator says some of the grinds I imagine are a bit pricier than others. Oh, there is a huge range of price to pigment. Guaranteed. To give you an idea, it would range anywhere from just for the volumes that we fill at, you know, you've got something that's like the metallic medium that I'm not going to say, we obviously don't lose money every time we sell a bottle. But metallic medium requires all the other paints to lift it up to a profitable status because it costs so much for that platinum metallic that's in there.
Sarcastic Grandpa, thank you. That's like the best compliment is when you guys tell your friends.
That's
and then
awesome.
Your friends take your advice and try it. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, Mike, exactly. Finely ground for better dispersal is exactly why you do it in coffee too. 100%.
But this is
It turns out that liquid physics is liquid physics regardless of what you're making, right? You could be making a drink or you could be making a paint that you're not supposed to drink.
Yes, there you go. Jason, A+.
Right? But it's the same thing, right? It's that you'll notice that our paints mix up better, quicker, don't have to fiddle with them. Tim says, I've had friends ask if you were on the payroll. Do you tell them yes?
Iterator wants to know if we've reformulated any colors based on feedback, whether direct or something we see in a review.
We have reformulated colors due to things that we noticed that happen with them based. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I guess we figured out that one because of a customer's response,
Yeah,
right?
it was Faded Plum.
Yeah, Faded Plum. When Faded Plum went through a rework, and that was because of a very odd use case that a customer brought to our attention,
Really
that it
niche
had an
interaction.
affinity to glycol, which is weird. So yeah, we redid that with a different pigment.
You'd never know.
They could get the same thing done.
You never know. It looks exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same exact color,
Yeah.
but we had to go back to the drawing board and work on that one. So yeah, when we see things, obviously we don't want to we don't release paints that have problems. But if we were to see something out there, or what happens that doesn't get spoken about in the world is that a particular pigment supplier will go out of business, or a pigment will stop being made. And so you'll have to figure out, well, crap, that was being used in a particular range of colors or whatever, and we've got to figure out how to keep those colors identical and, you know, find a new pigment to substitute. Now, the good thing is that in the world of synthetic pigments and such, there's always a substitute. So, but going back and reformulating, making sure it all works and balances out the way we need to is important. So, but I think that's the only one that we've had to do anything with.
It's the only one I know of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been before my time if anything else had.
No, we think we've got it. We're getting to a point where as we get to what we'll call the stage one close of the range, where we've made all the base Pro Acryl colors, we may go back now and reevaluate some. We juggle around internally what the best way to do that is, because we have some colors that kind of step on each other's toes. They're not the same color, but they provide the same use. And so we may go back and utilize some of that to take a color out and make a new color to fit in the range. But no promises are on that one. I don't know.
I suppose we did reformulate.
I always hate it because if I get rid of a color and I'm like, oh, but that was your favorite color, what do I do?
Yeah,
I hate that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I guess we did reformulate the matte varnish as well.
Yeah, the
But
matte
it-
varnish, but that
it
was
didn't
because
go
we
out.
caught it.
That was never sold.
We caught it before
Yeah,
we sold
yeah,
it. Yeah. Your only complaint is sometimes there are colors I need that aren't in the line. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Vector sold all the non-Pro Acryl paints at a miniature flea market. Some people asked what he was painting with now. Got a couple of fist bumps from others who've also gone Pro Acryl.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I love it. I
It's
love
like
it.
your little
The
club.
the single best compliment we ever get is that I gave my buddies all my old paint. you know. And James, we hear you on that one as far as like the color range. We don't ever expect to have, you know, the 3, 4, 500 color range because that's a little bit too challenging to maintain as a business. You can imagine that the more variation you have in your line, the more variation and problems there are with things like we talked about, like pigment changes and things like that. We love a really core line and then teaching people to mix more. So you'll find that once we get down the road a little bit further, you'll find more and more of that info coming from us on how to mix, what to do, how to view that stuff, because it really is just training. You can make from a handful of Pro Acryl colors everything you could ever imagine. There's not a color I can't make out of our current line, but it does take that knowledge and that kind of understanding of how color works in the subtractive mixing method that you do with paint. Got 2 friends to buy Monument paints, Mike? Nice.
348, Jordan.
They ask you questions as if you know what you're doing. Of course you do. You're not a fan of still telling them I don't know how to use it very well. Eep Jeep, the Rogue signature set. Yeah, I mean, the Rogue Hobby signature set will almost mix any color you want, right? The
plus black and white.
The dark hot pink. Yeah, you just need black and white with it. The dark hot pink actually makes a good replacement for processed magenta. So a little bit too red, but it still works very well. Patrick said, I'm still waiting on a deck tan. I don't know what color tan is a deck.
I don't know.
Tan's a weird color, right? Because it really is kind of one of those where I want a little bit more yellowish light umber that's maybe just a little lighter. But then I start looking at it and I'm like, well, khaki or bone or one of those will get me there. So I wind up mixing those. But awkwardish, yeah. The paint mixes beautifully because it's actual artist paint, turns out. You know what you're going to get from it because you can expect it. It will act the same always. If you pick up a green paint, it starts from a base green pigment. If you pick up a brown, it starts from a base brown pigment.
Like Papa Chicken said, the color of the deck depends on the stain.
Yeah, exactly. Love Salt. Pro Acryl has reignited your love for the hobby with how easy it is to use and manipulate. I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. See, again, that's you know, whenever you're designing a product, I feel like you should look and fill the hole that you think exists out there, define what it is, define how you plan to fix it. Whether you ever tell the world that or not, it's kind of irrelevant. You know, you make the product to fit your definition of what the problem and the solution would be. And like I said, that was one of mine, is I wanted painting to feel easier for people because most of the people, well, I don't know that we can quantify how many people come into the world of miniature painting from an art background or a non-art background. I feel like the bulk of people in our space do not come from a background of art.
No, they do not.
Right?
Nope.
But that shouldn't limit, right? You know, whenever I'm drawing or painting on canvas, people would come by and be, oh, that's so great. I always wish I could paint, but I can't even draw a stick figure. How many times have we heard that as an artist? I can't even draw a stick figure, right? And, you know, you're like, well, you don't have to. If the tools are good. Now, obviously that doesn't hold true if I hand you a blank piece of paper and say draw Spider-Man, right? You need to, no matter what tool I give you, unless it's a big rubber stamp of Spider-Man, right? Then it's not really going to help you. But with painting where the miniature is already defined and it's really a collaborative creation because the sculptor has determined your path for you and now you just color that path to make sense the way you want it, I feel like that should be easier. There should be an easier pathway for people to pick up a brush, put paint on the brush, and bring their, you know, favorite character to life in miniature. And that's what Pro Acryl is all about. You know, it blends better, it looks better. You know, you don't have to fight the light and the reflection because of the ultra matte finish. All the things that Pro Acryl does are done for a reason. So.
And it does all of those things really, really, really well.
Miniature painting is just 3D coloring books.
Deck tan and ice yellow. For ice yellow, you can use
bright pale yellow. Yeah, those are really good alternatives.
Couldn't paint minis because you couldn't draw. What a lie you told yourself. Oh yeah, 100% it's a lie. It's a lie we tell ourselves to think that we can't create, but you know, you definitely can. Everybody can paint a miniature. Assuming you have, you know, the appendages to hold the paintbrush or some sort of mechanical prosthetic that will hold a paintbrush and can move it for you.
Yeah, there's still options even when you don't.
I've seen people paint with their feet, for crying out loud.
Yep.
So it's everything's possible. Yeah, miniature painting is just 3D coloring book, Philip, correct? It is 100% a 3D coloring book. Even with an art background, it just streamlines the process. Oh, 100% lab salt. That's the thing, is that Pro Acryl, for people who don't have an art background, if it can make that better, the way we talk about it around here is that a great artist can make anything look good with any paint, right? Because they're a master of their trade. They already understand all the tools, right? But great tools will make everybody, right, work at a higher level and find better confidence. And that includes the master, right? One of our current ads is funny because it says, you know, our paints won't make you paint like Picasso, but if Picasso had our paints, ooh boy, he would have had a better time painting.
Yep.
And that's the way we think about it, right? There's no silver bullet to just all of a sudden becoming, you know, the world's favorite or best painter. You got to work at it, right? That's where you got to put in the hours.
Yep.
But the goal is to create the tools that make those hours fun and rewarding. That's what we
Make
do.
it easier.
Shouldn't be hard. You want to paint something fast, paint it fast with our stuff. You want to paint it slow like me, I mean, that's where, like, Baby J and I are the odd couple, right? Man paints 14 models an hour,
Sorry.
right? And I paint one model every 14 years. So, isn't it a bad move to give your friends your old colors instead of Pro Acryl from the very start? Well, we joke about that around here, right? Is that you probably don't want to give.
Give
We
it to
tell
your
you just to
friends.
donate your old paints to a local charity or school that will put them to good use.
Yeah.
Right?
Kids who are just learning.
And then buy your friends some Pro Acryl.
Yeah.
Get them started on the right foot.
Yeah, if you're
buy
looking to give it
friends.
away, if you're looking to give away a paint collection, start with schools.
Eep Jeep's only got 8 fingers and paints everything. Fantastic. On one hand?
Dang. Missing a hand, but got plenty of extra fingers to compensate. Sounds complicated.
Mike says, look, man, I've seen what I've painted. Pretty sure I can't.
Old
create.
paints can be terrain.
Whatever.
Sure. Yeah, like Panda's saying, good starting point for kids.
Yeah.
Just to see if they even like painting.
Old paints turn into terrain paints, that too, except there's usually not enough of them left to do you much good. That gets frustrating. I'll be the first to admit that for terrain, I go buy cheap rattle cans and whatever the cheapest paint at Hobby Lobby is.
Yep.
Those craft paints.
Oh, yeah.
Jen and I sat around painting terrain for bolt action with craft paints all day, and it was the way you're supposed to do it. What they're for.
I can flip you off twice on one hand. Oh, schools don't like blood for the blood god. Gabe?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just
That
take
makes
the label
sense.
off.
Just take the label off.
Classical charter schools don't like blood for the blood god.
Hmm.
Oh, that's hilarious. It's like, well, let me explain corn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you have a moment to talk about 40K? How funny.
For,
Here's some paint and a pamphlet.
let's not get started on Slanesh either.
Let me take a moment to talk to you about our Lord and Savior 40K.
Slanesh is not a great representative of that group either.
What is he standing on? Is that a Carnifex?
I honestly, I have no idea what Tyranid this is.
Maybe it's a Screamer Killer?
I don't know, because it's got... Oh, yeah, it is. It is. It definitely
The
is.
Screamer Killer has that, like, naked top neck. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. I was like, wait a second. I do know what this is.
Because the Screamer Killer is just the old Carnifex. It's just a throwback to the old
Yeah.
Carnifex.
Yeah.
That ugly model.
It is ugly. To be fair, this one is also ugly.
That was a lot better.
It is a lot better.
I love the fact
Yeah.
that they did an homage to that original one, because that original one was so funny.
This was...
Do you like Dateline? Well, Korn is the god of Dateline.
Yeah.
He lit up a room. The conversation we always have, if anybody tells you you light up a room, go home.
Go home.
Lock the doors.
Leave.
Stop being so nice.
Those thick acrylic paints for us miniature painters might only be useful for terrain. Exactly. And they do well for it.
Already time.
I know, it's
4 o'clock?
pretty crazy.
What
It's
the?
57.
What the?
Yeah. Door locking time.
Door locking time. High five.
Oh, I'm reading Bloof for the Blood God.
Yeah, Bloof for the Bloof God.
Bloof for the Bloof God.
That's what it's called now.
Yeah, I'm in.
Bloof
I'm
for the
in love with
Bloof
that.
God.
Can I get some Bloof for the Bloof God?
Panic bomb. I'm a cloud darkness in the room. What? A cloud of darkness in the room? You are? What are you talking
Hi.
about?
What? What do you mean?
What are you talking about? Floof for the Floof God.
Indeed, Floof for the Floof God. And Jen is gone. Jen always leaves around.
She gets up,
3
walks
till.
the building, makes sure all the doors are locked, and comes back.
Yep.
To take us out. That's her shtick. Oh, you don't light up rooms. You're the dark cloud. Oh, I got you. That's how you avoid your Dateline episode. Be a surly old cloud. Be the one everyone wishes would be on Dateline. That's how you avoid Dateline.
Who?
Just be the one that everybody wishes was on a Dateline episode.
Ooh,
Right?
No, I don't, no,
That
No.
Jordan, man.
no. Can you imagine me?
I
being
wish
on
somebody would dump him in a lake.
Can you imagine me being on an episode of Dateline?
You would be
I
the one
can't.
being interviewed who would say, Jason really lit up a room. I don't know how anybody decided to stab him 80 million times. That would be what Jordan would be doing.
I'd be there as a witness.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what happened. He was so nice.
Yeah.
Every time I'd ever interacted with him, he was so gentle and kind.
Lit up a room.
10 months later, stabbed and killed 3 people. I'm just an awkward panda-sized human. Fair.
Any thoughts on red oxide primer? Would love it. Got some ideas. Stay tuned.
Oh, but
Yeah, exactly. They never say, yeah, you know, she was really a bee. And I can understand
yeah, it's like,
why
you know,
that happened.
You know what? That person was really a terrible human.
Yeah, even the ones where it's
I
like
can see
like
that
the you know like the wife like turns on the husband after years of abuse or something. It's never like people say, "Yeah, I saw it coming. He got what he deserved."
Yeah, never happened.
They never just go flat
No.
out. It's like, why don't you just call it what it is? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, he's a horrible person. I'm glad he got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know?
Like, you're not admitting fault.
That's why I'm
Why
also
is
not
that?
on Dateline as the interviewee
True.
because they don't want to hear what I
Although,
have to say.
to be fair, probably would be pretty shocking.
Like, yeah,
It would make
I
for a
told
good
her
episode of
I
Dateline.
told her not to hang out with those idiots down by the lake. So
Those idiots down by the lake doing some kind of weird
Giordano LaFontaine has been on Dateline.
stuff. Giordano LaFontaine has been on Dateline.
Never mind the fact that the victim was working on a street corner or a drug dealer or the other way. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Papa Chicken. It's like, hey, wait a minute.
If
It's
I,
not near as interesting for an hour to watch if there's not a twist, right? Sarcastic Grandpa says, safe travels.
Thank you so
Jeep
much.
says, safe trip, Jordan.
I'm excited for it. It'll be a lot of fun.
If you're in Germany or if you're going to Essen
Yeah.
over the course of this week for Spiel,
Yes.
make sure to stop by either of the Element Games booth or the PK Pro booth. I think you're at the PK Pro booth on Sunday.
Yes.
On Sunday.
On Sunday.
So it should be a lot of fun. Catch up with Jordan.
Yep.
And or Jen. Jen will be there for Friday, Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I know she's setting up meetings, some business meetings and stuff. So you may not catch a Jen wandering around, but she'll be there.
It'll be great.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Gabe. Bye, Gabe.
Have a good trip.
I will have a good trip.
Jordan,
Hi.
take it easy.
I will take it easy. He was-
Jordan really lit up a room. I don't know why they killed him in Germany.
He was such a good guy.
He was
Jordan was such a great
good
guy. He was the kind of guy that nobody would ever do anything untoward toward.
Jordan, good luck.
Thanks, Gabe.
Good night and good luck.
Yeah, good night and good luck.
Good night and good luck.
Safe
Oh.
travels. Eat a large pretzel and sausage in my homeland for me, says Wad.
Hey, Wad. Yes, I will.
That would be a schnitzel, a pretzel, and a schnitzel.
Schnitzel.
A schnitzel pretzel.
Schnitzel.
I want you to go up to the first place you see in the airport. I would like a schnitzel pretzel. Say it like that.
Kann ich haben einen Schnitzel?
Yeah. Kann ich
Bitte?
haben ein Schnitzel?
It's gonna be weird.
Ein Stück.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird because I
Schnitzel.
know like weird little bits of German. So it's like I'm gonna catch random things that people say, and I'll be like, huh?
Yeah.
And then I'll be like,
That's why German and English go together so well, is because you can kind of grasp what they're saying if they talk slowly enough.
yeah.
And
But
then
they
you
talk
just-
really fast.
And then you just speak English
hard.
back to them, and they can kind of understand what you're saying, and then they speak German back to you.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It'll be good. I'm very excited. The Element Cruise is a blast. I'm staying with them, which is really gonna be really good. Apparently the murder basement got flooded, so they had to book a hotel instead.
What?
Yeah, I don't have to stay in the murder basement anymore.
Well,
I don't know how I feel about that.
well,
Now I'm just gonna get killed in the murder hotel.
well.
So that's
They made
So-
a movie like that.
Yeah. gonna
yeah,
say.
yeah.
You have
Yeah.
a Spanish friend that will be attending who doesn't have any local retailers. Will he be able to get some PA at Essen? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think Element and PK both will have it.
Yes, definitely. And come say hello to me,
And Jen's there talking to new distributor people, so
Mhm.
that'll be good too.
and I will talk your friend's ear off about Brocro. Take a new try.
Lava Salt said, just ordered some glazed wash medium. Excited to use it on your current OSL project. Any tips? Don't be afraid to thin the crud out of your paint and play around with it.
Yep.
You know, the thing when painting models is that it's always better in 99.9% of the cases to over thin and build back up, right? You go too thin in opacity and then layer back up. So play with it. You know, I generally like to start half and half, you know, glaze wash to paint, see how that works for you. I tend to just glom it in there. I'm like, you know, half a bottle? Yeah. One drop of paint? Sounds great. But it's fantastic. It's easy to work with, very fun. Don't be afraid to put water in it with the paint too if you don't like the feel, because it is thicker, so it keeps the paint feeling thick. If you want to tone that down, add water into it. It's a great medium, very elastic in what you can make happen with it. Plays very well with all the colors, so just attack it without fear. Vector, you and your 5-year-old son are coming. Awesome. Make sure to stop by and say hi to Jordan.
Yes, please.
Bring him a
Stop by.
pretzel schnitzel.
Yeah, I love snacks. So, yeah, awesome.
German for sausage is Wurst.
First, yep.
That's why I said pretzel schnitzel. Step away from the hostels, Jordan, especially with all the Dateline talk.
Hey,
You lit up a room.
he lit up a room.
Boshek, you got some Pro Acryl. It's only been 10 years.
It's only been 10 years.
Boshek has literally been here forever.
That's awesome.
You have to give your roommate the talk and explain it's just paint. He can always strip the model if push comes to shove. I mean, you know, the thing is it's just paint and you can test it on a model. Everybody should have a dumb Space Marine that they didn't use for something hanging out. Paint it 10 times.
I got one right here. Boom.
Buy a texture trainer from
Been
us
painted 12 times.
and paint the dang thing and test stuff. That's what's so great. Don't paint the expensive model that you're so afraid that you'll ruin or something.
I feel like everybody feels the expectation that they have to get it right the first time.
No.
And the answer is you have to get it wrong a bunch so that you know how to get it right the next
It's
time.
not brain surgery. You can do it lots of times.
Correct. Yeah, you're not performing open heart surgery on somebody.
Yeah, have fun with it is really the thing, right? The hashtag it's just paint. It really, but that again, it goes back to the fact that a lot of people join the hobby without coming from the world of art, where you've had to learn that time and time again, because you'll try something, it won't work as well as you wanted it to, and then you'll have to try it again, and that's great.
Yep.
But if you haven't
Absolutely.
gone through that, now's your time. You pick up your first model, your first brush, your first set of paints, and you're ready. You're looking at that Space Marine or that whatever you're painting, and you're like, oh my God. You get that analysis paralysis and that fear, so you can't do it.
Yep.
Well, you know what? I guarantee if that's your first model and you don't have another one, guess what that model came with? It came with sprue or something, a base, and just start painting. Just start putting paint on it and see what works and what feels good and what doesn't and all that. And then you don't even ever have to touch the model you're worried about, messing up. Just start playing on other surfaces. But I'm a big fan of keeping the test model around, testing colors out on it, throw it at the wall, realize that perfection isn't what you're going for. You're going for done and comfort. Look at that, right? There's Grandma's quilt.
Grandma's quilt.
That's the texture trainer in its best use.
Yep.
Is just as a hodgepodge of color where you went and tested. You went to see how that color looks with that other color as a shadow, right? That's why we literally make those and we charge $25 for them, is so you can buy one and it doesn't break the bank and you can do exactly what Jordan's doing with it.
Yep.
Right? And then when your confidence is high and you've learned to paint, strip it, paint it for real.
Yep.
Hang it on your wall.
Do
It's awesome. It's just
little
plastic.
tests like this.
Just plastic.
Have a bunch of them. Stick them in a drawer. Paint them over.
I love that red cloak.
I do too. It's pretty
Blow
cool.
check
I really
finally
like his
got
pants.
And his
Pro.
green pants. That's Santa Claus.
Yeah, he's Santa Claus.
Did you see the Boshek finally got some
Yes.
Pro
We
about
did,
that?
yeah.
Yes. Finally, the proud owner of some programs. All right, boys and girls.
Bye.
We're done.
Thank
Say
you so
goodbye to
much for
Jordan.
hanging out. All right. Thank you guys so
Oh,
much for
say
hanging
goodbye
out.
to Jen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll probably be here for a little bit on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys will have a day / 2 maybe. to
I
say
will not
goodbye
be
to
here
Jen.
tomorrow, but I will
Oh.
be here for part of Wednesday probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, much love from us, you guys. It's been awesome. If you're still here from the raid much earlier in stream, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Drop us a follow so you can figure out when we go live. We do that 5 times a week, Monday through Friday, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And you can join us for restreams, and you can look up all of our long-form video content and tutorials on our YouTube channel, which Jen has so kindly placed a link in the
Jared.
chat for.
Goodbye, Jared and Janet.
Bye, Jared and Janet.
I don't know who they are, so
And then make sure you guys
I'll
check
say
out the rest of
goodbye.
our links. We've got our store link up there where you can find all the fantastic paints we make, as well as the FLGS link, which is the store locator, allows you to find local stores near you where you can support us as well, and your local game store. And then check out our Discord. It's much like here, it's a bunch of fun-having hobby nerds having a great time, showing off cool paint jobs, and doing silly little challenges. Also, we're going to put the information for that challenge up here soon. Don't forget, October is going to be Undead October.
Undead.
Undead.
Spooktober, but with undeath
Yeah.
as the theme.
Much less life. And with that, we're going to take your guys' evening on into the... I don't know how you say it. But
We're gonna raid
We're going to
somebody.
do a raid. We're going to have a raid.
we're gonna raid Kenny.
We're going to raid
Next Level
Kenny.
Painting. So
'Cause
stick
he's painting.
around for a raid.
Show some
And
love
say
in
hi to
Kenny's
Kenny.
chat, and we
Yeah.
will catch you back here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye. Well, I will not be here tomorrow. But bye.
Bye.
I'll see you guys next week.